فريق OG وصل للمسرح، وزي ما احنا عارفين توهم جايين من فوز في بطولة ميجر جدا كبيرة، لكن خصمهم ممكن بدأ بداية صعبة في البطولة، لكن قدر يستمر لما وصل لمرحلة انه يتأهل الى النصف النهائي بعد مباريات كانت ثقيلة، وهو يعتبر الامل الاخير للجمهور الصيني انهم يمكن يقدرون يكتبون اسمهم على كأس رياض ماسترز لأول مرة ويصنعون التاريخ معنا في رياض ماسترز. أعزائنا المشاهدين والحضور، رحبوا معنا فريق PSG.LGD.
The stakes are high. This is a single elimination. Lose here and you are just out. On one side stands the final bastion of hope for the Chinese region. On the other, possibly their biggest kryptonite. All too familiar, OG versus LGD, time and time again, blocking their way. Can they finally overcome their demons and take the win? Let's find out as we prepare for the games.
مباراة فريق OG و LGD مو أول مرة نشوفها، وقد شاهدناها مرات كثيرة، لكن هالمرة هذه تبي تكون الستيكس جدا عالية، لأنه في حالة خسارتك للجيم ما عاد بيكون عندك فرصة أنك تكمل سنجل إليمينيشن ماتش، وخطوة أخيرة قبل ما يتأهل فريق إلى الجراند فاينل، بيكون أول فريق معنا يوصل إلى الجراند فاينل في الرياض ماسترز. مباراة بتكون ثقيلة. خلونا على طول أعزائي المشاهدين نروح للاستوديو التحليل على طول ونفتتح اليوم النهائي من بطولة رياض ماسترز.
Now we've gone to watch the teams walk out on that stage. And everyone's talking about, the storylines. Oh, OG always beats LGD. That's the one thorn. Is that really true, Dan? Do you think LGD sees them that way? I know you do, JMR.
I don't know. I think LGD are going to take a very similar attitude to OG, that this is a good learning experience for them, because we always talk about, we have a bit of a Western focus when we think about all these things. It's like OG's first chance to play this Chinese juggernaut, right? Whereas it's also LGD's first chance to play OG in quite some time. They're going to be able to take that back.
Everyone, right? LGD is like, finally, we can play international teams. I'm curious on the other side. Everyone's talking about how this is the big test for OG because they get to play against the Chinese teams. Is that true to you, Jamar?
I think that for us, there's specific learnings that the team has to go through from now until TI to be ready. And this is one of them, Okay. You have to go internationally to play a tournament. You have to feel what the pressure it feels when you play with these guys, because it's really big.
Right.
And whatever they win or whatever they lose, they're going to have that experience, because you don't want to learn that during TI.
Yes.
Yeah, even for the Chinese teams, right? Like LGD or Chinese Dota in general, there is a bit of a stereotype that they're kind of a little bit too stubborn when it comes to these lands. They stick with what they know for too long, whereas other teams are known to adapt a little bit, bring out something new mid-tournament, which for something like TI, which this year it's a multi-week tournament, might be a little bit more challenging. I think flexibility is even more at a premium. And Jay, I want to ask you something as well. You were briefly talking to me about before how OG might be viewing this, like you said, as a learning experience, but how do you feel the pressure is going to be on them versus, let's say, LGD?
I think LGD has to have more pressure, I mean, if they get beat by a bunch of 16-year-olds, I'm going to be tweeting on them. It's like, oh, what's up, bro?
What happened? What happened? I thought you guys were the kings, yeah.
What do you think, LGD expert? Do you think that the age matters to them? The experience? Do you think they value that a lot? Or is it just Dota, good Dota's good Dota?
Bro, Dota players are Dota players. They have pride. You don't want to get stomped by anyone. Not to say they will get stomped, of course, but I think that they're definitely going to get it from their fans if OG are able to come out on top, and that's not what anyone wants. Everyone wants to be the big dog.
Sure. Have we had that experience? Because I know, for example, the other Chinese coaches, right, RTK, was very vocal about his beefs with literally half the scene at this point. Very passionate man. Do you think Xiaoba also has that kind of attitude, or do you feel like he's just game at a time, play the best Dota you can?
he seems a lot more measured. You know, you see a lot of these teams, and sometimes it's good for the performance in terms of just keeping your emotions steady,
Right.
you know, not riding too high, not going too low, because then you can have dips and all that sort of stuff. But it's just so entertaining to see those really explosive, fiery personalities, which is why someone like Amar obviously has such a big fan base. Or honestly, he's a little polarizing as well. You know, some people love him, some people love to not love him so much.
I think he's the funniest guy we have on the roster, and we're very lucky to have him. He's amazing, and he's grown a lot, you know?
Yeah.
He used to be a little bit more of the challenging punk when he joined the roster, and now he's really understood what it takes to win and how you need to really harmonize with everybody else, and he's been lovely to work with.
I want to ask at one point,
Yeah.
now it's long past that, but there was a little bit of beef in the Stockholm Major with Amar with a couple of players.
Beef.
Yeah, beef. One particular one was Matthew from Thunder Awaken. They said some words to each other in a pub, and Amar actually apologized as he progressed to the Stockholm Major, which I thought was interesting. You know, he won the game. He's like, very sorry for what I said. You know, didn't mean to be mean. Was that something he had planned the whole time? Do you guys know anything about this storyline for Amar?
No, we really don't try to control who they are or
Right.
how they're going to be. I know that Amar is just a competition. He's 16-year-old, and
Yeah.
he's constantly, you know, bouncing, and he wants you to bounce back. He
Right.
doesn't want just to run you over in how he plays, in how he talks. But if he feels or he ever felt that somebody was taking offense, it's not his objective, you know? He will apologize if he have to.
That's very nice. To apologize on a big stage takes a lot of guts. You know, he seems like a very shy person, so to do that, I feel
No,
like
it's
that's a
great.
test of courage for him, right?
He's great. He's a great kid.
It's always a bit of fun, right? Like, you don't want to be this one-way street where you're just like giving a lot of this banter, giving, and getting nothing back. You know, that's what I was saying before about these more exuberant personalities. You want that showmanship to be able to come out. And honestly, LGD probably one of the more calm, cool, collected teams that are less likely to be able to give a little bit back. But, you know, we saw in their series, even against D-Boosters, when they were able to get that level 1 Roshan, we saw a few smiles go across the LGD, and, you know, they were happy. They were bantering in the all chat, which is always great to see. But we're into the draft, and, well, speaking of Amar, he has been able to pick up that Viper for himself. So clearly a lot of attention being given to him with those first couple of bans, the Timbersaw and the Razor. Obviously, Amar Timbersaw, very fearsome. Razor seems a little bit like the hero of the tournament. Something's got to slip through.
Yeah. I'm curious about the Viper, because all the picks that we've seen for Amar...
Ooh.
Now, who's playing what?
Okay, never mind. Maybe it is Amar Slaughter. This is interesting. What do you think of the deviation is? I mean, Viper clearly a flex still, but could Slaughter be played in other positions, Dano?
I'm not feeling quite as strong about it. Back when he was playing on Liquid, Tiger as the position 4 sometimes switched up roles with Boxy at the time when there was a Slaughter in the game.
That was
and it was a little bit more likely, yeah. So I'm keen to see how it works out, because Nature's Prophet, it's one of those heroes that's good at bullying out people in the lane. You've got a lot of ways to be able to just deal quick physical damage to the heroes, assuming it is a position 1. Arme's played it a couple of times, POS 1, so it could certainly be the case, but I think they're just wanting to leave their options open. We've seen, you know, Viper paired with a Dragon Knight a lot of these other times, and clearly they're just thinking that the minus armor against someone like the Tiny, if it is indeed going to be a core at some stage, is going to be a little bit more valuable.
JMR, one of the brands, I think, for OG, for all Dota fans, has been the idea of like never giving up, right? There's one of the best teams historically at coming back from lost games. Do you feel like this current iteration also has that spirit as well? Or do you think they are very much of a snowball kind of rotation, winning lanes?
I think we're a little bit greedier than we were before. I mean, understatement. We're the greediest team in the world. And I think that, look, when we see the draft here, the fun thing that I can add, you always start thinking, oh no, this is for sure the carry player, the carry hero. You know, you don't know. But we don't know, they don't know, and BCM definitely doesn't know. He's like, okay, what am I going to get stuck playing, you know?
Who's the person that decides how everything works together at the end? Is that Misha or is that Chubash?
I think Amar has a lot of impact
Really?
with it, and obviously Misha and Chu as the captain and the coach. But I think everybody gets a feeling of what's happening, you know? We practice so much, you know, you've seen already the iterations, and we know what kind of hero pool everybody feels comfortable playing.
And when you flex a pick, when does the Amar test happen? Is that after, when they're deciding it, or before?
Okay, so the Amar test is that Amar will check your level in Dota buff of a hero. And if he doesn't like it, he will just disregard anything you say. So there was like a moment on the major where Seb was like, oh, I think this is a good AA pick. And Amar went to Dota buff. and he clicked Wind Ranger. He didn't say, no, I think, no, but no, you're playing Wind Ranger.
What is it? It's like Dota Plus, it's like gold or above, basically.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but if you don't pass it, you're not playing the hero.
I think Seb in your podcast said it was first they would check win rate, then last few games, right?
Yes.
That was it, and of course the level was the first thing. I think it was like level 10 or above, but you're not playing it, right?
Yeah.
Really high standards for him. LGD also has high standards, but those are decided by the director, as we like to call him, right? Whenever he has a plan, he tells his players to practice this beforehand. That's why they're always ready. That's why they're so versatile. What can you tell me about this plan you're seeing right now? Actually reminiscent a little bit of the RNG lineups we saw with this early Furion.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just... Viper is one of those heroes that is not very mobile. That's its big weakness. You want to stand there, you want to be a turret, you want to force down towers, objectives, be a beast in a lot of these team fights. If indeed it is a core Viper, we still don't know. But we've got this Furion, of course, very mobile, able to move around the map, and they are kind of single target focused as well on OG at this point in time. So that's why it's really important for them to take away a few of those easier opportunities to be able to dominate the lane. Of course, a Warlock Bristleback against an off-lane Nature's Prophet is a fantastic lane. Bristleback, once you hit level 25, honestly even level 20, level 18, these big power spikes, all that physical damage from the Quill Spray is just going to be amped up by the Corrosive Haze from the Slardar. It just means that you can continue balling on forward. And new hero Pog Champ. We've got a Dazzle coming out here. Again, it's all about the burst damage, and it's all about the single target burst damage that OG have right now. So someone like a Dazzle's pretty good, but it's kind of just like delaying the inevitable, you know? It's not actually going to save you unless you have a way to disengage and be able to come back after a team fight. So right now, they don't exactly have that. Like the Tiny, if he's the one getting gone on, then probably you don't have a way to be able to follow up on that.
And it's fascinating as well, because we've seen LGD being the team that always runs team fight 5s, right? That's been the big thing they've been doing this tournament. Last match against Nigma, they go for the Enchanters, more lane-oriented, and the Dazzle is also lane-oriented, right? Do you think there's a shift in their strategy to adapt to the OG?
Possibly. I mean, Dazzle Nature's Prophet is a really strong lane together. Like, I know they're two range, which isn't typically the way to go about it, but if it's going to be, you know, a Viper or if it's going to be a Slardar, that's exactly what you want. And this is what I was thinking. Illusion heroes against this very single target focused lineup. It's going to be great. You know, Naga Siren, Phantom Lancer was potentially an option as well, but yeah, I don't hate this Naga.
I'm curious now about, because I'm sure you've seen them play, right? And you just like witnessed it. When you get to, they're going for strong lanes now in LGD, right? So it's not going to be the usual destroying MR lane. What happens when the lanes don't go their way? Like, what is the recovery like? How's the attitude in OG? Do they concentrate a lot? Do they maybe try to have a lighter atmosphere?
I think that you always, if you watch all the MR games, you see that he's going to try to find farm that makes him happy and makes him feel the vibe of the game.
Right.
And I think the most interesting thing right now is all these heroes can be very greedy, but who is playing what? Right. I mean, in my 2K pubs, you know, all these are core players. Core heroes, sorry.
Sure. What better way to scale? You know, if it gets to 50 minutes, they're like, we got this. We have that late game potential. But
that is the OG strat though, until now. I'm pretty sure it's all carry.
I think that's it, like the open AI, you know? Okay, how about we play like this? We all buy Midas, you know? We all get cores, and we just have to make an hour game, you know? And then we'll be ready.
And that's where Taiga comes into play, right? His experience and his ability at cutting lanes. That's where he has shined and shown. And he has been able to kind of delay the games for OG to scale as they want to.
So I'm just trying to think what OG are looking to go for with this last pick of the overall draft. I wouldn't hate something like a Death Prophet, for example. You've got some percentage damage, you get that Spirit Siphon onto the real Naga Siren. Even if you're going to use the Mirror Image, it's still going to be able to follow you. Some extra tower push. Roshan just melts even faster. You probably don't even need to pop the Exorcism for it. I really wouldn't hate to see something like that. And again, it is still kind of flexible, right? You can toss it into multiple different lanes.
Where would you put it, though, the Death Prophet?
I don't think OG knows where they would put it if they were to pick it up, but...
Musical chairs. We're going to play music and we stop.
Yeah.
Are they the only team that's also played the Viper 4, I believe? Like, they're one of the few teams that actually wants to flex it as 4, at least in the tournament.
Yeah, you don't really often see it as a 4 because obviously 4s want to be rotating. They want to be making sure that you're able to assist with those water runes, those power runes, because, you know, I guess maybe that's a little bit less of a factor now, considering we're seeing the heroes that like to go for those power runes drop off a little bit. Not so much Ember Spirit, not so much Storm Spirit. Those are the big two. Obviously,
Puck's fallen off a little bit, though.
A little bit, yeah, for sure, and that's really because of the Tiny a lot of the time. So, but Tiny likes to use those water runes as well. So maybe OG just aren't valuing the rune rotations quite as much, and they just want to focus on dominating the lanes.
Right. And now OG, they currently have an issue with this Naga, right? You have a lot of minus armor, which is fine, but Naga also known for having one of the highest base armors in the game, great agility gain. You have the help from the Dazzle as well in that regard. What is the final pick, or what do you think they need for this to answer them?
So you can see right now it's actually Chu and Amar that are drafting right now together. So Amar has the papers, which are also a staple for us.
Yes.
So he's drafting right now.
Yeah, I'm a little bit different, right? Obviously, Misha's like the captain of the team, and by the way, just a little bit of extra info, 24th birthday for Misha, so happy birthday to him. But maybe that's one of his presents, you know? Obviously, Amar has a lot of addition to the draft, but they're just like, you know what? Take it easy this time, Misha. We're going to let you sit back and relax.
There's the magic damage we were talking about, right? To deal with the high armor, and a favorite of them, the Puck. Does the Tiny go mid now for LGD? Then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think you absolutely want to be doing this. I mean, Nature's Prophet is able to rotate through, right? And the Winter Wyvern coming through. Okay.
Ooh.
I mean, up against a Dawnbreaker, it's a really solid lineup. I was thinking this is what I wanted with that turnaround potential, right? Dazzle can do the initial save, but it's what you do after that that's going to be the big turnaround potential. So against a lot of this minus armor, Winter Wyvern, of course, great against physical damage. If you're looking to ball up and just go with a Dawnbreaker, fantastic too. So two really different styles of lineups. I'm wondering if they might be just going a little bit too defensive on LGD's side. I think outside of this Tiny, they don't have the greatest ways to be able to make plays.
Does OG have ways to make plays? Are you excited about this game?
I'm very excited. I just still don't know who's going to play what.
Yeah, sure.
You guys want to take a guess?
We never find out on this panel, so you know it's been a staple of this. Yeah, sure. You want to take a guess? What? Let me just give me one. Like, what does Amar or BZM play?
I think Amar plays the. So I think Tiger's going to play Viper.
Okay.
And obviously TA.
So Misha 5 Dawnbreaker.
Misha 5, yeah, Dawnbreaker.
And then Amar 3, and then BZM on the Amar
on the Puck.
Slaughter and BZM on the Puck.
Yep.
Classic BZM Puck. That was the hero with his Invoker when he was back on Creep Wave. That's always very exciting to see. Oh, the Viper. Oh.
The Viper.
Oh, no. Anyway, what about as we get into this first game? Will LGD's more defensive lineup be able to work? Will this new Dazzle strategy be successful? Or will this scary Viper that takes over the panel take over the lane as well? We're going to have to find out as we go to game number 1 between OG and PSG.LGD.
Thank you, Alva. Right, here we are, game 1, OG, a classic for them, right? Lots of brawling, lots of team fight and catch, but LGD with more reset tools than I've ever seen in a Dota game.
It's a lot of healing. It's like, if we talk about their lineup, you have Nature's Prophet deeping back, you have Dazzle with the heal, Song, Winter Wyvern with the curse to the heal. This is going to be a very, very difficult game to just because, I mean, if you look at the OG's lineup, they do have explosiveness, they do have what it takes to isolate and bring down the hero, especially with Slaughter and TA. This is a lineup that's going to threaten Roshan at every single stage of the game. I'm a little worried that this Naga Siren pick caught them a bit off guard, because in terms of the AoE control and damage, once Naga Siren gets to like 2-3 items, it's gonna be very difficult. But yeah, we can hear the crowd clapping. It's time. OG against PSG.LGD on the main stage.